Hello and welcome back to my FC24 Liverpool career mode, and we are on episode 16 and it is the series finale as we have finally made it to the end of the season. It was a season that had quite a few ups and downs, so we got off to a bit of a shaky start but found some form and then had a good second half of the season, although there were still some bumps along the way. But now we do have a chance to finish the season very strong, and maybe at the end of the episode we will be able to officially say that this is how Klopp's final year at Liverpool should have happened. Now, Diogo Jota was featured there in the main menu, and that is because we have received an email that says he is available for selection again. He was out injured for about 3 months, not the 0 weeks that it says there in the email, so he is now available to play once again, although he probably won't be starting any of the games we have in the coming week, but we do have a busy week, so he will feature at some point. Starting off the week, we are at home to Wolves in the final Premier League game of the season, so it is a farewell for Klopp at Anfield. Hopefully we can get the win before a trip to Dublin in midweek to face Roma in the Europa League final, which should be a good contest. And then at the end of the week we do take the trip down to Wembley to face Newcastle United in the FA Cup final, which could be a tricky one as they have had the better of us twice already this season. But just going back to the start of the week and looking at the top 5 of the Premier League table with one game left to play, and Manchester City have been crowned champions after Aston Villa drew their penultimate game of the season. So now that there's 4 points between the two teams with only 3 points left to play for, Manchester City are officially champions, which was inevitable really. Aston Villa do still have something to play for though. They are only 3 points ahead of us, so if they lose their last game and we win our last game, we will sneak up above them into second and snatch second spot from them on the final day, which would be some achievement considering the start of the season we had. But like I said, that requires them to lose, and we do still have to do the business against Wolves, which is not a given considering they beat us in the reverse fixture at the start of the season. So if we lose to them again, there's a chance that Arsenal or even Newcastle could go above us in the table, however quite unlikely. If they both win, they will go level on points with us, but we have quite a significant goal difference advantage over them, so it is highly unlikely that we will drop out of third place, but we shall see what happens. Now, we have built up a fairly large youth academy, but we haven't really done anything with it this season, so I figured with it being the last Premier League game of the season, not an awful lot left to play for, we'd maybe promote a player to the senior team and give them a run out against Wales in the second half or something. So I've picked Sven Friedrich, who's a 16-year-old striker from Germany. He's already overall rated 63 with a high potential of 87 to 93, so figured call him up to the first team, put him on the bench, maybe give him a run out in the second half, see what he can do, see if he lives up to the hype. But anyway, the Wolves team lineup is going to be Jose Sa, Semedo, Kilman, Bueno, Querfeld, Ait-Nouri, Bellegarde, Doyle, Neto, Hee-Chan and Cunha. Now, I thought Bellegarde was a winger, so that seems a bit odd that he's playing in centre mid for this one, but anyway, their tactical vision is kick and rush. Now, I did just check off camera, and Bellegarde is centre mid. He can play left wing, but his natural position is apparently centre mid, so I guess that shows what I know. But our starting lineup is going to be pretty much the usual. Gakpo starting up front, and the one change coming with Konate starting in place of Gomez. Konate is a bit unhappy with his lack of game time. Gomez is fine, he's happy enough, so he won't mind missing a game. So yeah, Konate comes on in place of Gomez. Friedrich is going to make the bench, that's why we called him up, and Jones is going to make the bench as well in place of Gravenberch, as Gravenberch has featured quite a bit more than Jones this season, so it'd be nice to give Jones a chance in the second half or something. So yeah, just going to change the Wolves kit because they don't need to be playing in their away kit. Their home kit does not clash with our home kit, so just change that, and yeah, we're still a strong squad. Not a game where we've really got anything left to play for, but we still want to win. So yeah, let's hear that Anfield crowd one last time. So it was kind of a messy start to the game. Neither team was really taking control. Gakpo took that knock early on, but he got up shortly after, so it seemed well enough to play on. We struggled getting forward as the Wolves' defence was pretty solid. They were playing 5 at the back, so it was quite hard to get through them. Up the other end, though, it was the opposite story. They didn't seem like they were having any trouble getting forward, and our defence just seemed wide open at the back. But that time Alisson made the save easy enough, but they came at us again, and after an unfortunate touch there from Konate, Cunha was able to pounce on loose ball and fire it into the bottom corner for 1-0. I'm not really going to blame Konate for this one. It could have been anyone. I think that's just an annoying part of the game where sometimes it forces you into stupid touches and you can't really do anything about it. I might have been able to clear it, I don't know. I don't think I tried pushing the button to clear it, but it might have been a different story if he did. But yeah, it was a good finish from him, but it should never have been given the opportunity to score. It became a little bit end to end after the goal. They were obviously trying to push for a second goal. We were defending quite well. We obviously were trying to push for an equaliser, but they were still defending well as well. They were solid, like I said. And it's not like we were playing terribly. We were playing some nice stuff. We put some nice passes together, but once we got into their final third, it's just they were so compact that it was hard to really create anything. And that was a poor ball from Robertson causing the turnover in possession. But he gets back, makes the interception, and then plays another poor pass, which causes them to counter. Neto putting in the cross, but a ambitious overhead kick goes wide of the post. And yeah, we kept trying to push through, but kept failing. And it wasn't long until Cunha used his pace to get through the defence and chip Alisson for 2-0. It's a bit unusual to see the computer just sprint through your defence like that. They usually, like, for whatever reason, stop sprinting and cut back and try and make a pass or something. But that time, Cunha just saw the gap between Van Dijk and Robertson and just ran into it. So yeah, it was a bit refreshing to see, I guess. Bit annoying though. I only held Y for like a millisecond to call Alisson out, then changed my mind, but it was too late. He came out far enough and Cunha was able to exploit the space, made it 2-0 like I said. We started playing a little bit better after the goal. We got forward. Szoboszlai maybe should have kept going down the wing there, but came inside and then kind of lost the momentum. But we recycled it, tried working it back round, and then it comes back to Szoboszlai, who puts the cross in for Diaz, but it's headed away by the defender. But Szoboszlai wins it back. Benacer gives it to McAllister, and then he tries a shot from range, but it's blocked. It does find its way to Sa, so it counts as a shot on target, I think. And I think that was our only shot of the half, which is kind of pathetic. We had 54% possession, so that's a positive that we're playing some nice passing stuff, but it just, like I said, as soon as we get into that final third, it's so compact we can't get through them. There's really hard to create anything, and they've not done too much better on the shots front. They've only managed 4, but they've got 2 goals, so they're obviously a lot more clinical than we are. It was a really poor first half, so Gakpo was still injured at half time, so we took him off, and then a pretty sloppy start to the second half as well. Aside from that chance there, we actually defended okay, but it was just whenever we tried to go forward, we just kept giving it straight back to them. Like that time, Nunez was trying to dribble forward, but then somehow lost it, and then they were able to come back forward, and then we won it back, started going forward again. McAllister didn't know what to do with it, and then dispossessed by Bellegarde, and then they come at us once again. And then we, like I said, we were defending okay. We won it back there, tried to attack again, gives it to McAllister, loses it again. So Wolves just kept coming at us, but like I said, we were defending okay. We stopped them. It was just we couldn't really get out properly because we just kept giving it back to them stupidly. Then we were finally able to create an attack. Nunez putting the cross in for Diaz, but it's headed away. Castor wins it, gives it to Szoboszlai, and we managed a shot. We actually managed to get a shot away. Finally got forward. I thought maybe this is us finally out of the rut that we'd found ourselves in, but no. We just went straight back to the sloppy passing. That time Robertson's poor pass out is dispossessed. They work it round, and then it comes to He-Chan. He fires it in from a tight angle, but it's the near post. Alisson should be saving that every day of the week, but it's kind of been a story of our season. Alisson not making saves he should. So that's just another one for the scrapbook. There was a spell of about 10 minutes, I think, where we could barely complete a pass. We won it back there and then just give it straight back to them again. It was just really, really sloppy play. A genuinely awful second half from us. Somehow Konate and Van Dijk were our only shining lights, which is strange to say considering we were 3-0 down. But if not for those two, and good save that time from Alisson, but yeah, if not for Van Dijk and Konate, it could have been a lot worse. The fact that it was only 3-0 was just down to luck, I think, on our part. We tried to get forward, and then again another poor pass in the final third meant that we were unable to really create anything. And then again kept stopping them, tried to go forward, kept losing it. Just a really sloppy pass, so poor in that second half. So we eventually decided to make some changes because the game was gone. We knew we weren't getting back into it. I wanted to see what Friedrich was like, but we couldn't get him on the ball. We eventually did manage to get one counter-attack with Salah, and you had to think surely we were going to score. And then we saw Nunez at the back post running in, so we thought, oh, well, we'll not take the chance with Salah, we'll go for the easy option, cut it back for Nunez, but we couldn't even complete that pass either. A few minutes later we were able to get a corner somehow. Never won the first ball, but it dropped to Jones, who volleyed just past the post, which was probably our best chance of the game. Yet again another miss, and then in the dying seconds they got the fourth goal, and the game literally screwed me for that one. I was in control of Konate, about to close down Lamina and block the shot, but then the game switched players on me, so he had all the time in the world and fired it in to make it 4-0 just before the full-time whistle. As I was saying, Konate and Van Dijk were the shining lights in the game. I thought Konate had a really good game, but I guess that doesn't really matter when you're cursed. And the curse is well and truly alive with that one. That was definitely the worst game of the season. I can't... Like, even the 5-1 game against Spurs, we created loads of chances. It's just Forster was a brick wall in goals. But this is by far our worst performance of the season. I think we're just going to blame that on the 2 cup finals we've got coming up. We're clearly had our eyes focused on something else. But yeah, well, only 3 shots to their 11, and we were actually positive possession in the first half, so the fact that it swung the complete opposite way is just shows how poor we were in that second half. And to go from 87 pass accuracy at half time to 78 pass accuracy at full time really shows how poor we were at keeping the ball in that second half as well. Now obviously Gakpo got injured in that game against Wolves. He got injured in like the first 5 minutes, but lasted till half time, but it turns out he actually had a broken toe, so that's pretty commendable for him to play 45 minutes with a broken toe. But unfortunately that does mean he will miss out on the 2 finals, and although he should be back not long into the new season, it does mean he will be missing out on Euro 2024 with the Netherlands, so that is a bit unfortunate for him. But anyway, the top scoring charts obviously Erling Haaland tops the leaderboard with 33 goals in 38 matches, which until he broke the record or smashed the record a few years ago, that would have been a new record, but 33 is a slow season for Haaland. But surprisingly, Højlund was second in the charts with 25 goals, and then also pretty surprisingly is De Bruyne joint third with Ollie Watkins on 22 goals. And then there is Son, Salah and Diaz, two of our own guys there, all tied on 20 goals. Nicholas Jackson underneath with 19. Bukayo Saka and Kulusevski both had 18 goals. Cunha ended up with 17, two of which came against us in that last game of the season. Martinelli on 16. Jota, even though he missed 3 months of action towards the end of the season, he did still end up with 15 goals, along with Gabriel Jesus, Alexander Isak and Dan Juma of Everton. That's a little bit surprising as well. And then Fernandes and Garnacho both had 14, and then Ivan Toney with 13, along with Anthony Gordon. Now the top assisters were Fernandes and Szoboszlai, both tied on 14 assists each. I'm not sure if they would share the award or if it would go down to who played the least amount of matches, in which case Szoboszlai should get it because he played less matches, so it's more assists per game when you break it down, but it doesn't really matter. But anyway, Kulusevski came second with 12. Salah showing he can do a bit of both. Watkins as well, both with 11 assists each. De Bruyne, unsurprisingly, is there with 10 assists, along with Grealish and Saka. Lucas Paquetá, Morgan Gibbs-White, Haaland, Anthony Gordon all had 9 assists. Son, Moreno, Alexander Arnold with a slow season, only getting 8 assists, along with Zaniolo, Diaz and Gakpo. So quite a few of our players all chipped in, helping each other score, setting each other up. Jota, Hwang Hee-chan both had 7 assists, so a lot of players showing that they can do a bit of both. Neto, Harvey Elliott and Højlund all ended up with 7 assists as well, and that's really good from Elliott. Everyone else had played 30 odd games, a few of them have only played 20 odd games, but Harvey Elliott only playing 18 games and getting 7 assists really shows he's done quite well to get in amongst the top superstars of the league. And the clean sheet table, it's a 4-way tie at the top. Areola, Pope, Ederson and Alisson all tied with 9 clean sheets, so no team has really outdone anyone else in terms of defence. No one's been excellent. So 9 clean sheets for 4 different keepers, and then there's a little bit of a drop off then. Leno and Onana both with 6, and then Steele, Martinez, Pickford and Vicario all with 5. Strakosha, Turner, Ramsdale, Gerbic all with 4 clean sheets. So yeah, not a great season for the keepers. And now a final look at the Premier League table, as the season has now come to an end. Manchester City, as we know, were already crowned champions with a game to spare, but they finished the season in style. They beat West Ham 4-2 at the Etihad on the final day to really cap off another title winning season for them. Aston Villa won their final game of the season as well to secure second spot fairly comfortably in the end. They're 6 points ahead of us in the third. And interestingly, Aston Villa only lost 3 games throughout the course of the season. Manchester City lost a couple games more, but Aston Villa's downfall was that they drew too many games. They ended up drawing 12 games and City only drew 7. City winning 3 more games than Villa, so it was 4 points that separated the two teams at the top come the end of the season. As I said, we managed to cling on to third place despite our best efforts to drop down the table a little bit. We said before the game if we'd lost by a big enough margin and Arsenal had won by a big enough margin that we could be leapfrogged by them. We did our part, we tried, we lost 4-0, but Arsenal weren't up to the challenge as they only managed to beat Everton 3-1. So we did finish level on points, 75 points each, but we did have the better goal difference as we were 2 goals better off than Arsenal. Newcastle did have the chance to jump up the table as well, but they had to score quite a few more goals. Their challenge was quite a bit harder, but they weren't even able to win their final game. They were held to a draw by Brentford, and that finished 2-2. One thing Newcastle can shout about though is that they did have the best defensive record in the league for the season. They only conceded 41 goals, and the next best was Aston Villa with 42. So despite only losing 3 games, they weren't able to say that they had the best defence, as that title goes to Newcastle. Top scorers in the league was us. We managed to score 94 goals, which was more than anybody else. Next best was Manchester City with 91. So despite being champions, they weren't the top scorers this time round. Top 5 was, in the end, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Arsenal and Newcastle United. Down in 6th was Spurs. They were 8 points behind Newcastle, and then 7th was Manchester United, 3 points behind Spurs, and then bringing up the rear in the top 8 was Chelsea with 60 points. And then as we go down the table, 9th was Brighton. They were 8 points behind Chelsea, so there's another little drop off there. But level on points with them was Fulham in 10th, with just a few goals separating them. Brighton with a positive goal difference, Fulham just -1. And 11th, 4 points behind them, was West Ham with 48 points. Brentford in 12th, also on 48 points. And then Nottingham Forest in 13th, also on 48 points. So 3 teams there joint on 48, but West Ham with the better goal difference. Nottingham Forest was substantially worse than the other 2. And then down in 14th was Wolves. They had a strong start to the season. They were going really well, but then they kind of dropped off. So they ended up on 14th with 44 points. And then down in 15th was Everton on 40 points. They reached the 40 point marker, which means safety, but this season the bar was a little bit lower. 16th place was Crystal Palace on 35, but they were pretty safe. And then down in 17th was Luton, as they made the great escape on the final day. They went on 29 points, level with Sheffield United. Sheffield United did have a better goal difference, so they were in 17th before kick-off, but they lost 3-0 to Tottenham, and Luton managed to get a draw with Fulham, so they got that vital point they needed to jump out of the relegation zone. And Sheffield unfortunately dropped down into the bottom 3 and were officially relegated, along with Bournemouth and Burnley, who were relegated quite a while ago. Another interesting stat is that Burnley, with the worst defensive record, had with 83, and the next worst was Luton with 82, but despite that having the really poor defensive record, Luton were able to survive and stay in the Premier League for at least one more season. Just before we get back into the action, I thought, seeing as we've got these 3 games in the space of the week and it is the end of the season, I've just set pretty much everyone's training plan to recovery. Gomez obviously didn't start that game against Wolves, so he's still on performance focused, but pretty much everyone else is on energy focused or all out energy, like Van Dijk and Szoboszlai. They do fatigue a bit more than the rest of the team, so they're on all out energy, and everyone else is on energy focused except for Darwin, as he didn't start that game. He came on as a sub, so he's still unbalanced. And Robertson is just a stamina machine, so he doesn't need to be on all out energy either. He's energy focused. He's happy to be unbalanced and still recover pretty well. And obviously Alisson's a keeper, so he doesn't need much recovery time either. But yeah, it is the end of the season. If everyone's struggling for match sharpness at this point, there's something seriously wrong. And now the time has come for the Europa League final, with the starting lineup of our opponents: Roma, Castells, Celik, David Garcia, Mancini, Indica, Spinazzola, Pellegrini, Cristante, Sanchez, Abraham and Lukaku, with their tactical vision, which is kick and rush, and it's a pretty strong looking bench for them as well. Our starting lineup is still going to be the usual 11, with Nunez up front as always in the Europa League. The first team is still the best team, despite that Wolves game at the weekend. That was just an anomaly. So yeah, this is the big one. This is the one trophy Klopp failed to win. So let's go out there and get it.
We'll have the action on EA TV. Well, the anticipation is over, and now the big day is here. It's the final of the UEFA Europa League. I'm Derek Ray, and as always on these big occasions, I'm joined for commentary by the former Arsenal and England defender Stuart Robson.
But I think this is too close to call.
Oh, how about that for the last line of defence? This is how the starting lineup looks today. Vastly experienced Belgian Koen Castells will be in goal. Robertson, good looking cross, and the keeper taking it cleanly. Let's take a look at the Liverpool starting 11. Alisson gets the nod in goal. Virgil van Dijk plays alongside Joe Gomez in central defence. And in this tactical setup, they have just the one player in attack. And still looking to get the shot off. Cristante. And with that, the attack fizzles out. Must take the lead here. Still work to do. Oh, a goal for Liverpool! The first goal of this final. And how important could that be?
Well, here's the replay, and just look how quickly they break forward once they win the ball back. But from a defensive point of view, it's not good enough. They stop marking in the box and don't close the scorer down. That's just poor defending.
Alert intervention. Liverpool in a position of menace. Well, he tried to put everything into the shot, but couldn't find the target. Possession. Renato Sanchez with it now. Surely the equaliser. Oh, dealt with by the defender. Corner kick played in. With no degree of difficulty for the goalkeeper. Alexander-Arnold just cleared away in the nick of time. And getting close to half-time with Liverpool in front here. Stuart, what strikes you about what you've seen from them in the first half?
Well, I think they've been the better side in this first half. They've defended well, they've looked dangerous in attack, and they've controlled the midfield. It's been a solid performance so far.
Well, the counter chance looks very real. The cut back. And still they wait for the chance. Oh, tremendous block. Delivering it. He didn't have too much room to work. Now he must favour the cross. Can he make it count? What an important piece of defending. Well, the managers will now deliver their half-time team talks. We're at the end of 45 minutes in this game.
It was a decent first half of football, to be fair. Opening 15-20 minutes was a bit back and forth. They had a bit of possession from kick-off, and then we got it and had a little spell of possession before they had it back for a little while, and then we were able to counter at one stage, and that's when we got the opening goal. The keeper was a little bit sus for that one, but anyway, we began to dominate the game after that, but couldn't really make our pressure count, so they were allowed back into the game, and they started causing us a few issues, but generally we defended well, especially Gomez. He was really good. Alisson didn't have too much to do, but at the other end, to be fair to Casteels, neither did he. It's been a good contest, and at half time we lead by a goal to nil, so can't have too many complaints. 5 chances for them, 4 for us. We have attempted a fair few more passes, but they've got the better possession, so maybe we're just overplaying it a little bit and trying to get that second goal. But anyway, into the second half.
And the second half underway. Liverpool looking to build upon a largely positive first half showing. Spinazzola. Can they use their pace? Dangerous ball. Goalkeeper. Andrew Robertson. Crossing possibilities. And still danger here. Punching it clear. Can someone get on the end of this? Any goalkeeper would accept. Nothing quite like the FA Cup final, and you'll be able to see it live right here on EA TV. It's Liverpool taking on Newcastle United. Robertson. Oh, beating his opponent with ease. And a fine stop. So the corner played into the box. Diaz. Blocked it brilliantly. Vasquez. Lukaku. Pulls it back. Well, it did look promising, but no threat in the end. Darwin Nunez. Diaz. snuffing out the danger. There's the cut back, and that's a very good parry. And the substitution will occur now. Trying to pick out a teammate. And well positioned to clear. Crossing opportunity. Well, not quite the header he had in mind. Brian Cristante. Well, still time for them to level it, but really sticking to their task defensively. Now the quick counter-attack could be on. Well, not to be in terms of the counter-attack. Well, approaching full-time, Liverpool with a narrow lead here. Can they make it a victory? Stuart, your thoughts?
Well, they need to hold on here. Not long left now.
Oh, what a very fine stop to conceded. Well, they have elected to go to the bench at this stage of the game. Well, that's good defending, well organised at the back. Salah. This could be it. In it goes! And surely that's the end of the story. They cannot throw us away from here.
Well, just look at this again. The speed of counter-attack is so impressive. And then the strike from Salah is absolutely devastating. The keeper just couldn't react to the power of the shot. What a goal that is.
Celik. Oh, he needs to clear it here. And now we can say it officially. They have won the UEFA Europa League.
Well, great emotions here, Derek. Just look at the joy on these players' faces. They've been absolutely brilliant today.
Such a high level of competition this term. But they have been the best side. And nobody can contradict that.
Well, this is great for the players. They know how good they've been. It's just a case of picking up the trophy now.
And that is the next order of business. The walk up the ramp towards the Europa League trophy.
Well, you have to say it's a great achievement for the club and all these players.
For a captain, it's a moment you do not take for granted. The Europa League winners. They put so much into this campaign, and now they have their reward.
Now they can go and celebrate with their fans. They've been a big part of it, and they deserve to see that cup.
And now they get to enjoy the moment with the fans who've made the journey here for the final.
Well, they'll be loving this. They really have backed their team throughout this competition. They have a great bond with the players, don't they? That's lovely to see.
Yes, it is all about a shared experience. These celebrations will run long into the night.
Well, they need to take all this in, don't they? These are moments to savour. It's been a great night for everybody involved.
You are looking at the UEFA Europa League winners.
Second half was a similar story to the first, except we were able to really restrict their chances in the second half. They never even managed another shot. So yeah, we continued to threaten on the counter attack, but again, Castells didn't have too much to do. We had a fair few chances, but none of them were really that clear cut. As the game went on, Roma didn't really up the tempo. They seemed content just building slowly out from the back, and eventually we started pressing them aggressively, pushed them back quite a bit, putting them under some pressure. but again we couldn't make it count. We did then make some subs to freshen up a little bit, and then in the closing stages we were able to counter, and with the returning Jota getting involved in the build-up, giving it to Diaz before he set up Salah for that trophy clinching goal. Wasn't an easy game by any means. We did have to stay focused and not make any silly mistakes, because we've made a fair few of them this season, but we had to be patient with our attacks, and even though we had 11 shots, not too many of them tested Castiles, so when we got a proper chance we knew we had to take it, otherwise we may have been made to pay by Roma, but they weren't threatening too much, so that wasn't a problem. Luckily Salah was on form and he got those 2 goals to claim the Europa League for the first time under Klopp. Now Klopp can finally say he won every trophy he could at Liverpool. And although this was the one that we wanted the most, we secured it fairly comfortably in the end, but that's besides the point. Our season is not yet over. We do still have one more game to really make it the fairy tale ending, and that is the FA Cup final against Newcastle. And Newcastle have had the better of us a couple of times this season, beating us in the league home and away, and one of those times they even kept a clean sheet, and there hasn't been many games throughout the season where we failed to score, but that was one of them, so we're expecting this to be a very tough match. With that, the Newcastle starting lineup for this FA Cup final: Pope, Livramento, Byrne, Botman, Balde, Bruno Guimaraes, Willock, Longstaff, Almiron, Gordon and Wilson is up front for this one, as Alexander Isak is out injured, which could work out really well in our favour. Trippier, interestingly, is on the bench as well. Their tactical vision is counter-attack, but yeah, Callum Wilson is a good player, really underrated I think, but Alexander Isak is like top quality, world class player, so I'll be happy to not have to face him in this one. But our starting lineup is going to be the same as the Europa League final. Jota not quite ready I think to start, so we've gone with Nunez one more time in his final game for Liverpool.
A chance to etch your name in folklore. Who's it going to be? Only 2 teams left in the battle for the FA Cup. There can be just one winner. It's Newcastle United. They face Liverpool, and it's coming up live on EA TV next. At long last, the wait is over. A warm welcome to Wembley. This is Derek Ray, joined in the commentary box by Stuart Robson, and we're approaching kick-off time in what promises to be a spectacular FA Cup final. It's Newcastle United taking on Liverpool.
Well, Derek, as a youngster growing up, this was the day that every young footballer dreamt of. Playing in the FA Cup final, walking out in front of 100,000 fans at Wembley, broadcast around the world, it still brings a tingle to my spine, and I'm really looking forward to this one.
Newcastle moving the ball forward. What can they do from here? Almiron. And space to cross it. Almiron. Can he do it? Well, the main conclusion is... Let's see about the delivery. Save, but still a chance. And he did what he had to do defensively. Bruno Guimaraes. Did well to win the ball back. And he's broken free. Oh, a goal for Liverpool! The first goal of this final. And how important could that be?
Well, here's the replay, and just look how quickly they break forward once they win the ball back. And once he gets onto it, he just smashes it past the keeper with great technique. What an emphatic finish.
Now they have possession in a good area of the pitch. Almiron, is it going to be? Well, the flag has gone up here. Offside it is. For a moment, and now a throw-in. Will he play it in? Salah. Delivering it into the box. Oh no! Not a moment the keeper will want to revisit. Well, he's got to pick himself up now.
Well, here it is again, and while he's been beaten by the first effort, he can't do anything about the rebound. He's so unlucky there.
Longstaff. Liverpool have it once again. Alexander-Arnold. Oh, thwarted there. And what a piece of defending we've just witnessed. Guimaraes. Oh, what a top-notch pass. Wilson. And he's kept it out, fully stretched. Delivering it. Was it a great clearance? Has eyes for goal. A goal! Just what they needed. Still plenty of life in this match.
Well, here you can see it again. It's a superb cross, just asking for someone to go and meet it. And then the shot could not be hit any better. Struck with such venom. Great goal.
Darwin Nunez. And players waiting in the centre. Insufficient guile on the crossing front, you've got to say. Almiron. Oh, genuine chance. And the goalkeeper has outdone himself.
Newcastle started strong. We had to soak up a lot of pressure. There was a couple of hairy moments there as well, but we managed to pull through unscathed. We tried and failed to get out a few times, but then eventually we were able to get out and we countered well. Diaz releasing Darwin on the breakaway and scoring with our first attack. They had a bit of the ball, had that chance where Almiron was just offside. Then we were able to actually play a little bit. We started stringing some nice passes together before whipping in a cross, which Diaz rose to meet and sent a looping header goalwards with Pope scrambling. It hit the woodwork and then took an unfortunate bounce off the Newcastle keeper, sending it across the goal line for a surprise 2-0 lead after just 20 minutes. We had another good chance not long after the goal, but they got it clear and then they started piling the pressure on again, and we defended fairly well until that man Longstaff, again causing us trouble, took a shot from range which took enough of a deflection off of Alexander-Arnold to take it past Alisson. And I'm hoping it took a deflection anyway, because otherwise Alisson has got some explaining to do. With half an hour gone, it was game on. Newcastle dominated possession, but we continued to threaten on the counter, but neither team was really able to test the keepers too much, so it could be a tricky second half. 2-1.
Played over. What a genuine opportunity. Liverpool in a position of menace. Oh, really close, just failed to keep his attempt down. Beautiful pass. And he's allowed his opponent to get past him. Well, he couldn't quite keep that header. Well, nothing comes of it. Oh, to level the match. And fine goalkeeping. Cross fired over. Well blocked, but he must clear it away. Alexis McAllister. Can he take the chance? Great defending here. Full credit. Wonderful stop. Well, they've won possession back. What can they do from here? Happy to take on the shot. Easy meet for the goal. And he might be through here. A goal! And that is going to be that. Name on the trophy for certain.
Well, just look at how poor the defending is here. But I have to say, it's still a very tidy finish. He looked really assured there.
He takes aim. Oh, good work to deny the opportunity. And there it is, the final whistle. Cup success is theirs, and they've done it on merit. Look at these scenes.
Well, on the evidence of the game as well, they deserve it. They were excellent throughout. What a good performance that was.
And you can see, can't you, what it means to every single one of them.
Yeah, they've been a real team today. Really good spirit and a great performance. Well, this is special for everybody at the club. What a great moment for any young player. And this is what you dream about when you start playing football. When you're playing in the playground, you want to win a cup. Brilliant moment.
Yes, a special moment in the career of any footballer. And now for the trophy lift itself. The cup winners.
Well, you can just see what it means to those players and the manager. That's fantastic stuff.
There's always the element of chance in a cup competition, but my goodness, they've taken the rough with the smooth, and now they savour the moment. Full marks to the entire team, and now they get the chance to exhale and enjoy.
They've been brilliant in this competition, and so have the fans. They've really got behind their team. They've played a big part in this win. Just look at those faces in the crowd. Great stuff.
Really a match made in heaven between players and fans. And these celebrations are going to continue for quite some time. And now the players get to relax a bit and enjoy having the pictures taken.
Well, these photos will be cherished for years to come, won't they? Certainly ones to show the grandchildren.
We started that second half so much better. We created a good few chances for ourselves and actually stopped Newcastle's attacks before they could get into the final third, really. Couldn't quite get that third goal we were looking for to finish them off, so they did find their way back into the game a little bit. But we remained resilient, and they were unable to get the equaliser that they were looking for. We found our second win pretty late on though. We were able to put the pressure on again high up the pitch. It forced them into a few errors, one of which was a loose pass intercepted by Benacer. He then played a superb pass through the defence in between a couple of players to Salah, who then turned and did what Salah does best. Curled it in, 3-1, game over. The FA Cup was ours. In the first half we'd only managed 2 shots on target, or even 2 shots in total in fact, which was the same story for Newcastle in the second half, but we managed another 6 shots in the second half, which is as many as they managed over the whole course of the game. So they did dominate possession over the whole match, we'll give them that, but we had a much better performance in the second half, creating those chances, and even though we only got the 1 goal, it was enough to see it out and clinch the cup. So 3-1 it finished. A bit of a shaky start to the week, losing 4-0 to Wolves, but a good middle and a very strong end to the week as we claimed a cup double. So the prize money we received for winning the FA Cup was just over £2 million, and for winning the Europa League it was just over £8.5 million. So combined we received a little bit less than £11 million for winning, yes, winning 2 competitions. Now if you compare that to finishing third, that's right, third in the Premier League, we'll see that we received a staggering £172.5 million just for finishing third. Did I mention that we finished third? This is just absolutely ridiculous money. If that's what teams do actually get in real life, then it's no wonder that the English Premier League has so much more spending power over a lot of teams across Europe, except for some of the big boys. But yeah, absolutely ridiculous money. Now we look at the end of season stats. Alisson was the top appearance holder with 54. He didn't miss a single Premier League game, which is maybe a little bit unrealistic as he does tend to miss a game or two through injury, but anyway, he was the joint top clean sheet holder in the league and even popped up with an assist in the Europa League, which isn't unlike him. McAllister was next with 52 and his output was maybe a little bit disappointing, only 5 goals and 5 assists, but some of them came at really important times, so can't really complain. Robertson was third with 50 appearances and only the 5 assists for him. Another stellar season for Mo Salah, however, 49 appearances, 32 goals, 14 assists, proving he is still one of the top guys in the league. Diaz also had 49 appearances and had a very good season himself, 24 goals and 14 assists as well. It's just disappointing that his overall rating didn't improve as he was incredible all season. Trent Alexander-Arnold with 47 appearances only managed the 1 goal, which was that lovely free kick against West Ham, and he also had 9 assists, which is maybe a little bit below par for him. Szoboszlai with 45 appearances only managed the 3 goals, which is slightly disappointing, but we can't really complain about his 17 assists, proving him to be a real creative force for us this season. 44 appearances for Joe Gomez, but still searching for his first goal, just like in real life. Couple of assists for him though. However, no assists for Van Dijk in his 43 appearances, but with one of his 2 goals coming against Bayer Leverkusen at a very important time in the quarter-final of the Europa League. We can't really complain about his output either. Now, Darwin Núñez was at one point complaining about his lack of game time and so handed in a transfer request. He's got his move to Inter Milan lined up at the end of the season, but as it turns out, he actually ended up with the 9th most appearances in the squad, so he really had no reason to complain. But anyway, he contributed quite a lot to the team in the end with 26 goals and 6 assists in his 42 appearances. 11 goals came in the league, just like in real life, however we did it in less games. The unrealistic part coming in the Europa League, where he got 12 goals in 13 games and was pretty vital to our success in that. He is one of those players though that has almost all the attributes to be a top player, but is just missing that finishing ability, although in game that doesn't always transfer over. Gakpo was doing okay, helping out with a goal or 2 here and there in every competition and providing quite a few assists as well, but probably not getting the headlines as he played a role more in the style of Firmino, so finished the season with 15 goals, 14 assists in his 41 appearances. Gravenberch was probably our most used sub, contributing to his 39 appearances, but he managed the same output as McAllister, 5 goals, 5 assists, so not bad from him. Endo with 35 appearances, had no goals or assists, but is always solid. Harvey Elliott with a very good season considering most of his appearances came from the bench. 6 goals and 12 assists in 30 games cannot be sniffed at. Jota was having a very good season as well before his season was cut short. 18 goals and 9 assists in 30 games is almost a goal contribution a game, so who knows what he could have achieved had he not missed 3 months of action. Connor Bradley with 29 appearances is another one who was mainly used as a sub, only managed a couple of assists, but always performed well. Curtis Jones maybe didn't get as much game time as he or even we probably would have liked, as he also made 29 appearances with only the 2 assists for him as well. Perhaps his red card in the cup kind of derailed his season. Benacer came in January and made an instant impact with a goal in that 4-4 draw with City in the FA Cup on his debut, but that proved to be his only goal. Not that we're complaining, as his role is obviously more defensive, but funnily enough, he only managed 1 assist in his 25 appearances, which came in the last game of the season, which was the FA Cup final. So a goal in his first game and an assist in the last game, both of which were in the FA Cup, suggests Benacer is somewhat of a cup specialist. Hincapié, who also came in January, only made the 19 appearances, but even though his average match rating isn't the best and he may not have made any goal contributions, I still thought he made a good enough impact on the team. I enjoyed using him, he feels strong, he's pretty quick. I didn't really feel like he was out of place, and I was much more comfortable using him than I ever was using Konate, so the less said about him and his 19 appearances, the better. Dan's ended up with 14 appearances and managed 4 goals and an assist, which is not bad at all for the 18-year-old. Kwanzaa only made 14 appearances, but a few of them he was outstanding in, as he had a higher percentage of clean sheets than most. However, I wasn't the most confident using him in those games in which he wasn't quite as good, so that's maybe why I didn't use him so much. I've mentioned a few times I'm not the biggest fan of Tsimikas, but 4 assists in 12 games is pretty good, to be fair to him. Doak finished with 9 appearances and only managed the 1 goal, but it was an important goal that I guess we can say was worth waiting for. Matip only made the 7 appearances in his final season at Liverpool, but when called upon he always performed, and even took one for the team, getting a red card in his final Merseyside derby to stop Everton getting back into the game. What a legend. Kelleher will be disappointed to have only made 6 appearances, especially after getting clean sheets in half of those games, and to be honest, after the amount of mistakes Alisson made, I probably should have used him in a few more games, but ah well. James McConnell didn't really feature in the second half of the season, but managed a goal and an assist in his 5 appearances, which is pretty decent for the 19-year-old. and after deciding to try and complete the youth objective to get the board confidence back up a wee bit, we promoted Wagner from the youth academy and looked fairly decent in his 5 appearances, coming close a few times, but unfortunately no goal contributions from him. And finally, 16-year-old Friedrich, who has great potential, made his 1 appearance on the final day of the Premier League season, but sadly for him the rest of the team was so poor that we never got a chance to really see any of that potential. All that's left is to find out the winners of the 2 other European competitions, so starting with the Europa Conference League, it was of course the all-Belgian affair between KAA Ghent and Club Brugge, which finished 2-2, so it went to penalties and it was Ghent that came out the winners, defeating Brugge 3-1 in the shootout. And now for the big one, the Champions League final was between FC Porto and Real Madrid, and of course, as suspected, the winners were Real Madrid, winning the competition for the 15th time, just like in real life. Wasn't a straightforward game for Los Blancos though. Porto put up a good fight as it finished 3-2. But I think that is going to be it for the episode and for the series. Many people believe that Klopp underachieved during his time in charge of Liverpool Football Club, but when you consider the state of the team when he first came in and compare it to today, he undoubtedly made a massive impact and really helped transform Liverpool back into a powerhouse. I would say, however, that I think he should have maybe won a couple more trophies, but with the level of opposition that he was up against, i.e. Guardiola's Man City, his team did certainly put up a good fight and maybe even pushed Man City to levels that they may not have reached without Klopp's challenging Liverpool team. The whole point of this series from the start was to try and redo Klopp's final season in charge of Liverpool and have a bit more success than they did in real life. They only managed to win the Carabao Cup in the end, and while we failed to win that one in our virtual do-over, we did manage to win the FA Cup and Europa League, so I'd say that's an improvement. We could have done better, but if we're keeping it realistic, then I think we can call this a success and officially say that this is how Klopp's final season at Liverpool should have happened. I really enjoyed playing and making this series, so I hope you enjoyed watching it and coming along for the ride. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.